What's up YouTube, Dreamkiller coming at you in a video, and it's been a week now, well close to a week since the game came out, so I figured it's finally time to talk about Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. But before I do that, I want to give my brief history of my fandom and love for Resident Evil. I first fell in love with Resident Evil when a friend of mine had a copy of Resident Evil 4, watched him play it, and he let me borrow my copy, and I fell in love ever since. It was a great experience. Then I went back and played the old Resident Evils, and then moving forward with Resident Evils 5 and 6, and now we come full circle to 7. So there was much hype and speculation when Resident Evil 7 was first announced in E3 of last year. I've already stated this before in a previous video talking about E3 when they did the reveal trailer or the reveal gameplay trailer for it, where nobody knew what the game was. It was just a first-person perspective horror-esque game that obviously looked like it was borrowing a lot from the PT demo, pretty much blatantly copying it, but then we all were jumped for joy when we realized it was a gameplay trailer for Resident Evil 7. I shit you not, when that reveal of what it was actually happened, I literally jumped out of my seat and screamed for joy, probably waking up quite a few people in the process. But I was so stoked, but at the same time I was worried, because let's face it, when it comes to Resident Evil, lately Capcom has kind of milked the series dry. And we were all, skeptical. It's going first person, first of all. It's going to try to copy off of the hype surrounding PT, like other horror games are trying to do. Everybody was worried, but at the same time we were psyched because this looked like a Resident Evil game that was going in the right direction. And Capcom had said that they're trying their best to stick to the roots of what Resident Evil was and what made it successful. And I was one of those people that was skeptical when they said that they were trying to go back to the roots of Resident Evil. I was like, because let's face it, they said the same shit in Resident Evil 6, and Resident Evil 6, love it or hate it, it didn't stick to the root. It's what Capcom had said they wanted to try to do, but this time they said they wanted to try it with 7, and let me say this, thank you Capcom, thank you for finally learning your lesson, for finally sticking to what you promised to set out to do, because I am proud to admit that I love this game. Resident Evil 7 is truly a return to survival horror that Resident Evil desperately needed to come back to. Because this game is just great. The atmosphere is great, the tension is great, everything. Let's start off with how this game is essentially kind of a restart for Resident Evil, but at the same time it's trying to stick as a main entry, trying to stick with the continuity in canon with the Resident Evil story. So basically you're playing as a nobody, not a familiar character that you're playing as. You're playing as Ethan Winters, a man who his wife is missing, goes into Louisiana where he learns that his wife has been located in this abandoned Louisiana mansion. And as you explore, you come to find out that she is being held prisoner by this very crazy-ass family that kind of reminds you of something out of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And it just goes from there. It's just greatness after greatness. First off, let me say, the atmosphere is what makes this game so great. Especially when you add the sound into it. The sound is what makes the atmosphere so great, because there's just so many sounds around you that make you feel like you're not safe at all, unless of course you're in a safe area, which of course you are safe. And one thing that people are starting to realize is from the demo that came out before the game came out, there's a lot of familiarity from Resident Evil that the demo left out to surprise people. There's the familiarity of, you know, mixing herbs and stuff to make, you know, healing items. There's item management, and it even goes back to the old storage boxes and save areas, and it's just a throwback to everything Resident Evil used to be and should be, and it's just great. I can't say anything else. Unfortunately, I am not able to play this in VR because I cannot afford VR right now, but from what I'm hearing, this is a true VR experience. So I can't give you a 100% approval of this, but you know, if you've been on the fence lately on whether or not you should get the PlayStation VR because there's not that much going for it, I can sort of recommend some people that have recommend that you can play this in VR and get a good experience out of the VR. It really is good, apparently. It gives you even more tension and scares than how you would just play it normally. But you can play it normally and still get the thrills and the atmosphere and all that. So overall, after a week of playing through this game, hell, I've barely even scratched the surface of this game yet. But after playing this for a week so far, I can highly recommend Resident Evil 7. Finally, I can recommend say that this is a really great Resident Evil game. And hell, if you're still new to the series, if you still have yet to play Resident Evil, I can say you can start off playing this game not knowing jack shit about Resident Evil, because it pretty much is a reboot of sorts, even though there is parts that connect to the story of Resident Evil's lore. But you can go into this game not knowing jack shit and still have a great time. And hell, if this, you know, experience with Resident Evil 7 gets you interested more into Resident Evil, then go back and play the other games. I also recommend, you know, for other newcomers, you know, to play Resident Evil 4, and they can still get a good experience not knowing anything about Resident Evil, because in the beginning it gives you a brief synopsis of everything that happened in the previous games. But you know, if you're interested in this, then go and are finished with this, go back and play more the original Resident Evil games that came out, because they are definitely worth your time. So yeah, Resident Evil 7 gets a thumbs up in my book. Thank you, Capcom, for finally listening to your fan base. Thank you, thank you, thank you for finally making a true survival horror Resident Evil game. That's it. That's my little mini review, my first impressions video of Resident Evil 7. I hope you all take it for what it is, and I hope you are very interested because of it. So that's it. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button because my channel grows because of it, and subscribe because, as always, I have many more videos to come like this. I'm Dreamkiller. Gamers keep on gaming, and Resident Evil fans keep on rocking.